All right, hello everyone. Today I have Reed and Max from Fitted. They're one of the top tokens on the Believe ecosystem, and they're building a really cool app. It's the closet of the future. Reed and Max, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Of course. So let's get into it with starting at what's your background, and keep it kind of brief.
Yeah.
So I'm a serial founder with different roles in Web 2 and Web 3. Before the Fitted Closet, I was on the founding team of Inbetweeners NFT, which was Justin Bieber's NFT project. And, we had, I got experience rolling out collaborations with not only Justin, but Dolce& Gabbana, Juventus, and Adidas. And then before Inbetweeners, I was building the precursor to the Fitted Closet, which was Fitted Laundry, which was an on-demand laundry pickup and delivery service that I started from my dorm room and scaled to 18 cities without owning a single washing machine or van. And kind of going back, after the launch of Inbetweeners, I went back to Fitted and wanted to make a hard pivot into something that wasn't laundry but more or less fashion, and that's where I linked up with Max.
Yeah. My background is not Web 3 oriented. Reed has kind of shined some light on that for me. It's been great, but I graduated college a year and a half ago, University of Oregon, advertising major. Met Reed while I was at school through a project that I had made for class that I posted on TikTok. He saw the video. It fit the description of Fitted. We kind of meshed super well, and then I moved back home to LA like a year and a half ago, and it's just been nonstop on Fitted since then. So that's the brief way that I got involved with this. It's been good.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, guys. If you had to describe Fitted to someone who knows nothing about it, how would you describe it?
Great question. Fitted is a AI closet. What you do is you take pictures of your clothes or upload from your gallery, and AI will remove the background and help you organize it. And what you can do from here is you can make outfits, you can filter through your pieces, you can sell it online, or you can share it with your friends. Max, I don't know if you have a better elevator pitch or
I
how would you
just
tell us Fitted?
typically it's just I go AI powered digital wardrobe. If I'm talking to a girl, I'll often reference the movie Clueless. It's a cult classic for a lot of people. Came out in the '90s, and the main character has a digital wardrobe that she wakes up and uses to get dressed. And so that lands with a lot of girls. They very quickly kind of understand what I'm talking about. Other than that, yeah, AI powered digital closet organizes your clothes, makes outfits for you, makes your life a lot easier, and cuts down the time that it takes to get dressed significantly.
That's
Yeah.
nice. I never know how to dress myself. I feel like an AI would definitely do a better job of that than me, and it would save me the time. How did you guys come to that idea? How did that come up?
For me, it was always something of like necessity. I am, I've always been really into fashion. I grew up really poor, and the way I made money growing up was by like reselling Jordans, reselling Supreme, right? And there was something about, oh, I could get this Supreme shirt for $40, and then it looks like I'm wearing a $200 shirt, but there's really like an arbitrage. But then over time, it came into I'm like a collector, right? Same way that I love collecting NFTs, I love collecting pieces, right? Whether it be like, designer clothes or funny shirts or I'm a big golfer too, so all the different places that I played golf at, right? And so I wanted a place to just like have all my clothes in one place I could make outfits with, and I'm really only making this product for myself. And if I felt like I like it, then it's something that like other people would like as well. Max, I don't know if you have a similar kind of idea to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, if you had asked me like, probably 5, 6 years ago what I wanted to do, I would say something in fashion. And I never thought it would be tech fashion. But this idea came to me like during college. I was in a basic coding class for my multimedia minor. And the project was make a code using the randomizing aspect of the code. And so I built what I called an outfit generator. So I took photos of my clothes. I essentially did what Fitted does, but I did it all manually. I coded the whole thing, it was just this thing you could click through, and it would like randomize my clothes and make outfits for me. So that was just something that I thought was cool that I made for class. And like I said earlier, I posted that online, and Reed saw it, and it just kind of was perfect. Like Reed is you know, he's like head of operations. He kind of runs the thing, and I was able to come in and like see what the product was looking like, bring my kind of taste to it, and then also help with the marketing, and lead that. And so, and it made a lot of sense because, you know, through that stuff I had made in college, I had gained a following on social media that was waiting for something like this. So it really aligned like super well. And I agree, clothes is everything to me. Like that's my life. Outside of Fitted, it's my life. I resell clothes consistently. And so it really is just ease of use. Like I have like over 200 pieces in my closet. I can't, like, I don't wear all of them. I wear something 5 times and then I forget about it. So this is incredibly helpful to help me like sort through all that stuff and just see everything at one place. So I'm not forgetting about something that I haven't worn in a while, and I can keep switching up how I dress. So I agree with Reed. It's something I use every day. So I find a lot of use in it.
I love that. I think building for yourself is a really good way to find product market fit because if
Hmm.
you like it, there's a good chance that someone else is going to have the same feeling. And then you can also see all the bugs in it. And it's great that you
Yeah.
guys use your own product so you can see all the things that need to get fixed. And it really seems like you guys have a good yin and yang to you guys. When I met you in Solana Accelerate, it just feels like you guys are a very complementary co-founder duo. So that's very nice that you guys
Yeah.
happen to meet in college like that.
Yeah. I think that this past
So
week at the,
getting back,
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just
go
agreeing
ahead,
with you. I
Max.
think me and Reed complement each other very well. He has a lot of skill sets, especially in like Web3 that's like super new to me that I'm learning a ton from him. And he's a connector. He knows a bunch of people. He like makes the decisions to move things forward, and I help iron out the creases. And like, you know, we really work well. It's fun. It's good.
That's awesome. What excites you the most about what you're building?
Um, Max, why don't you start that?
Yeah, in terms of the product, there's a few things that really excite me. I think we're about to be launching V1 of social media very soon. So that'll be just a very simple, you know, searching username or name and then viewing a closet from kind of a read-only view. So that's exciting, but to me, the two kind of very exciting aspects are AI outfit generation integration. So we have an internal tool that we've built where you can prompt an LLM and it will generate you outfits based on your prompt using the clothes in your closet. So I think this idea of essentially an AI stylist that will grow with you and understand your style as you use it more. And in, you know, in tandem with that, we have an affiliate network that we're working to build out, and we'll be integrating that very soon. So the AI will be able to recommend, oh, you know, you don't have this in your closet, or this will look really good to finish this outfit. And it will be able to pull things from our affiliate engines. And so it kind of closes the loop of like you're uploading your own clothes and you're using AI to get styled, and then it's recommending you new clothes that you think it thinks you'll look great or you'll enjoy. And then that goes in with the marketplace, buy, sell, trade. So this is like a big vision, and it all kind of intertwines in my head because we've spoke about it so much. But this mix of social marketplace with the AI stylist to kind of guide you is very exciting for me because then it's a one-stop shop for like fashion in general. Reed, you got anything?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just becoming more in the conversation, more in the world of like fashion, not and also like Web3, of course. Like I've spent the past my whole career building up this really cool network of whether it be people of industry, but not only like celebrities, musicians, athletes, and I've always wanted to kind of bring this to them and have all these people build their closets on Fitted, right? I really want Fitted to be a cultural hub for fashion, and not only that goes with building relationships with celebrities, but it's also building relationships with stylists, also building relationships with brands, right? And so we've already been experiencing this, right? And at the same time that comes with building up the team. This past week and a half, 2 weeks on Believe has been pretty instrumental for us from a fundraising perspective and a team building perspective. And now we don't have to have as tight of a belt when it comes to hiring or making some decisions. And so that's what I'm really excited about. I mean, like Rome wasn't built in a day, and so while we want to move really fast. And we can move, as fast as Web3 moves, like lightning fast. There's always something going on, but building real product takes time, but it shouldn't take a lot of time. And so, there's just a lot of problems that we haven't encountered and a lot of successes that we haven't, really, dawned upon yet. So, I'm excited for how everything is going to unfold, and then also to how, Bitcoin is an accelerant into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Can you take me back and explain what the day was like when you launched the token on Believe? Like what led up to that decision, and then what was the day of launch like?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and so like I'm a degen. Like I've been trenching. Trenching is how I've like kind of made my income without drawing it out of Fitted for the past like couple of years, right? And when I saw, I knew I was familiar with Clout. I was familiar, I saw Believe, and I thought it was kind of novel at first. And then I saw Dupe get on it, and I was fangirling Dupe as a founder like for the past year. Based on how they grew from their product, based on like Bobby, based on their co-sign from Nikita Beer. Like they had a great product and they crushed it. And so then like watching them like launch and Believe was like really interesting because like why did they do this? And then two, watching him like figure it out in real time was really interesting. Even though like they didn't have all this stuff figured out when they launched. And they did very they were really successful. I had another friend launch a project that it was a vibe coded project that did okay. I don't think he was really gonna lean in and build the product in, but I saw the amount of volume that they got was really impressive, and that was the testament to Ben Pasternak and the launchpad that Believe had. And so I saw that, got on the phone with Ben, and he started to I was still on the fence. My co-founder Brian is not on he's also very complimentary to all of us. Brian works in the shadows, but make
Mm-hmm.
sure all the trains run in time. And it took a little bit of convincing for him to do it, but the final call was like, we can either pander to investors or VCs, or we can pander to people on Twitter and the Web3 and audience, and that was something that we were very familiar with. And then a day after our call with Ben, we were set up on a call with Pedro from the head of BD from the Solana Foundation, and then also the head of technology of the Solana Foundation. So I was like, okay, wow, they're really building an ecosystem. They're really giving us the resources, because like if I were to ask for a 10 out of 10 experience, like it would be literally that. It would literally be like put us directly on the phone with the heads of Solana and like give us all the resources, and that's what they did. We were gonna launch it on a Saturday. I was not on my keyboard, and also it was like the weekend. But like Solana was ripping that day, but then it was the day after was Mother's Day, and on the weekend volume is kind of like the volume's not there as it is in the weekdays, and so yeah, Monday. And there were still a lot of things that we had to like figure out with Believe, because we needed to have a supply of Bitcoin to be able to distribute it and reward out to our users. And so there was still some uncertainty on how we were going to get our supply of Bitcoin, because we couldn't necessarily like pre-mint some. But after talking with the Believe team, they and the way that the tokenomics worked, we would receive a percentage from all the cells. So then we were able to iron that out. And then we launched it, and at first it was kind of crazy because like the deployer didn't work, so we had to like wait like 20 minutes before to redo it again, and had it worked. I didn't have the decks ready, so I had to go and like get the assets ready, and then the next thing you knew, Max and I were on a Twitter Spaces, and then we were at like 3 to 4 million in market cap, and
Yeah.
then we were kind of like off to the races. So that was definitely like very exciting. It was a whole new dose of adrenaline, and
Yeah.
it was just really funny because like I feel like we were just ready for this. Like we have so much, one, it's like I kind of feel like I have my finger on the pulse for like how people in Web3 like to be communicated to, like the transparency, also being like unhinged. We had a backlog of content from everything that Max put together. I had about a backlog of memes that were just like too unhinged for Instagram, that we had on hand for X. So like we have like a decent backlog of memes for X. And then it was just like for Max too, it's just like, all right, here's this whole new channel that we have to like figure out. And Max, like, I'm really curious to kind of see from your perspective how everything kind of played out.
Yeah, yeah. Launch day was insane. I mean, I think it was, going into it like so new to me. Like Reed just kind of called me the week before. I was on the call with the Solana team, mic muted, camera off, just listening, trying to like understand everything that we're doing. And so when we launched, I didn't really know what to expect. But it was doing well. And like, I'm just kind of saying like, this is crazy. And so I think I agree. Like this whole Twitter is not something I'm good at. I know I've broken the algorithm on TikTok and Instagram before, but Twitter is like it was a little scary to me. It was like, this is a totally new space. It's all text based. Like I don't, so that first day of like, fuck, I got to put some tweets out. Like we got to talk about this, understanding. And also I think the coolest thing to me on day one was realizing that people are buying our token because of the product behind it and like the value that we're bringing to this Web 2 space or Web 3 space as a Web 2 company with a product that already is generating revenue and has users and engagement on social media. And that was so validating to realize like we're not just some like meme coin that people are buying because the name is funny. It's like great name, also Fitcoin, fantastic name. But they're buying it because the product backs it up. And we're a team that's dedicated. We've been working on this shit for years, so that was a really cool moment of like, they're not just buying it to pump it. And like, the typical stuff that I've been involved with when I've bought crypto, that's kind of my experience. And so to kind of see it through a new lens of this kind of also a new lens for, I think a lot of people in Web3 of like this product backed coin that's been launched. And like, that's where the interest was coming from. And so that was a really cool realization for me on day one. That was fun.
Yeah, that's super exciting. Yeah, you guys had like instant volume, right? People like it was on launch day. It went pretty ballistic, didn't it?
Yeah, it did well.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was validating for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So on that note of the token, how are you thinking about integrating the token into your product? Because most Believe founders that I've talked to so far, this is very new to them and they're taking their time to integrate it, which I think is smart because I think it's important to go slow and integrate it thoughtfully rather than to build too fast and get together a haphazard solution. I think some people might want to appease their holders because they keep asking about the token integration, but it takes time, right? And so I'm wondering how you guys are thinking about integrating the token right now, like where you guys are at.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Fitcoin for a pretty long time. I mean, so like we've been working on Fitted in different variations of it for the past like 6 or 7 years, and in that time you go through every possibly every single thought experiment. And I'm not even lying. Like, a couple months ago, I drafted out a white paper of like what Fitcoin could be, and so but it was always just like it never made sense. Like asking us to make a token like a year ago, even like 4 months ago, like made absolutely like no sense for us. And until Believe came around, right? Where like there's an economic incentive, there's alignment between product, community, builders, investors, like they've been able to align all the incentives, which is great. And so when I think about the token, there's a few levels to it. I mean, I think that like the lowest hanging fruit is like, all right, token gated access to use the product. Then there's like the second, which is like being able to earn Fitcoin by like in a very similar way that you earn points on Duolingo, right? We've already in our product pipeline is creating a rewards and an engagement tool, right? Think Duolingo points or daily rewards, streaks. And so now we can reward that to our users, but in Fitcoin, right? So now they can earn Fitcoin by using the app. I think a level deeper to that is like actually building a peer-to-peer economy of buying and selling clothes with Fitcoin. And I think that's the biggest opportunity. And that's honestly the flywheel per se is actually being able to get to that economy. That a peer-to-peer economy where people are buying clothes or selling clothes, and then even if it's not in Fitcoin, we take percentage of the revenue and use that to buy the token back. Like these are all things that we are very open. We are very open to. but I think that we do have a product, and we can use this token to engage people to use it, or use it as a medium of exchange to use the product, right? But that's how I'm thinking about like the product in a native way, and I don't think we can do, and I think that we can do it in a way that's not forced, that's actually like makes sense for the product experience.
Yeah,
I
nice.
think
Well said.
because we have so many like normie users already, I think a key is, not hiding it obviously, but making it, not too confusing for like our common users, like being able to integrate it in a way where it's not taken over by this Web3, but it's an addition and it enhances your experience, even if you don't know about crypto. And so I think I like what Reed said of like, if we do credit card charges, whatever charge, we would take some of the fees to buy back the token. And so even if you're not using Bitcoin directly, there's ways that it would be benefiting the coin just by, people using. And I think that goes with, seeing the app grow and the company grow, and like generating sales within the app is a great way for the company to grow and make revenue and like open up other opportunities for us. So if we can kind of tie that and Bitcoin into that action, then it directly results in like company growth.
Yeah, I think that there's a few things, right? The goal in general, right, is product market fit, and the goal is not to optimize for the price of the token. However, the thing go hand in hand, right? And if Fitted is successful, right, then the token price goes up. I think in a rising tide lifts all boats, and so. I think that there's a lot of things that we can do to, we want to build in a deflationary measure, right? So when Bitcoin is spent, it's removed from the ecosystem, right? So that, that provides an incentive for holding Bitcoin, too. But there's also like, all right, let's say we get a celebrity and we do an exclusive drop that's denominated only in Bitcoin, then there's a bunch of buying pressure on the token. But let's say like celebrity gets paid out in all this Bitcoin, and then they could in theory sell that Bitcoin for dollars. But that's okay because we just drove all this volume through the core product of Fitted. So like I feel like that's a W. So I think that there's like a few things. There's a lot of different things to optimize for. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's like attention and having a great product that people use. And if we build that flywheel, then that's the end optimization of it. And so if anything, this token is like. It gives us the runway and the funding to find product market fit, and then once we find it, then it's like flywheeling the token.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have a really good setup that Reed, you're very familiar with Web3 and tokenomics and like how these markets work. I think that really gives you guys a great edge over some of these other founders who are just coming in from Web2 with no Web3 experience. It definitely gives you guys a leg up on the competition, or not your competition, the other tokens. You guys are.
Yeah.
I think it's important to realize that none of these tokens are competing with one another. They're all so different that one.
But even to our own competition, like none of our competition is doing this right now. So it's like that's another way we're differentiating. So I think that it's just like, yeah, I think we're competitive. I mean, we love dupe. I'd gladly be a dupe beta for the rest of my life. But even if like of course we're gonna compete against the other like believe tokens. But I think that like when we actually look at our own markets, it's like this is a great way to just differentiate as a whole.
Yeah.
And it sounded like you guys got a good amount of support from the Believe team, which is great. But I'd like your input on what you think the Believe team should do differently, because I've definitely heard a lot of criticism for them on Twitter and in private conversations. And I think people have a lot of feedback, and I'm curious to hear you guys' feedback for what you think can be improved.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I have mixed feelings. I mean, it's obviously tough to be angry at someone that has built a platform that has like helped us raise so much money and has given us so much attention. I mean, yeah, like, are we gonna quarrel over like a few percentage points? Like maybe, but like I'm very appreciative of the platform he built, and it's clear that he has built a great ecosystem and a team behind him. They are moving so fast, and they've found product market fit, or they found a very crazy inflection point the past couple of weeks where things are growing so fast that I'll give them the benefit of like give them time to figure things out. I mean, like, yeah, I'd love to have them support us more on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. But I also understand that it's like, you have to be protective in some way, shape, or forms. And, like, you have to, be conservative in some fronts. But as a whole, I'm Team Ben. I'm Team Pasternak and Team Alliance, right? I think that they've built a great ecosystem, and I think everyone's just like figuring it out together. But as a whole, I am fairly happy with kind of how they built things. I mean, in time, things will kind of start to settle as they figure it all out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think these things take time, and I'm definitely happy to give them the benefit of the doubt. They built something really cool, and they have a lot of awesome connections. I think is one of their biggest moats, because I've heard people say, what if another launch pad comes in and takes a lot of the attention, but I don't think another launch pad can get as much connections as they've set, because they set you up with like the Solana Foundation. Like that is not easy to get a meeting with them. So Reed, you said you're trading a little bit, or you are a trader. If you were to buy one of the Believe tokens, what metrics would you look at? Like, how would you decide whether to buy a coin or not? Like, what's important to you?
That's a great question. I mean, I haven't been buying too many of the other ones. Because obviously after we launched ours, like my attention has has been less on the markets and more on our own thing. But I think it's cool because like people can do technical analysis, or not only technical analysis but also like fundamental analysis on like these apps. And like obviously Dupe had the cosign from Nikita. They're on the App Store. They're very viral, and that was kind of how because Dupe is a great company, and so that was kind of my kind of framing. But even too, like the same way that I go through my own like competitive analysis, like there's a site called Sensor Tower, and you can look up apps that are on the App Store, and you can see how many downloads that they're getting. You can see how much revenue that they're generating. And so like there's all these tools that you can look up that like VCs are actively doing to investigate how is this company getting numbers, is this company getting viral. So like there's that. But then also too, there's like that hunch that you get in your stomach is like, is this a good product? Like, would I use this product? And usually off that hunch, like you can say, oh, like yeah, like I'll buy it, I'll bid into this, because other than like the coast, maybe off of like launch, these tokens will there's a pump, and then it kind of settles out, right? But I think that like yes, you can always trade that short term, but when you think of like placing your longer term bets, which I think a lot of people are doing, like I think the holding periods on Believe tokens is a lot longer, right? And I think people are actually buying into them like they are angel investments. And so then it's like, do you, not to be corny, but like, do you actually believe in the product, right? And like, it's a mixture of like, do they have good tech? Do they have a good audience? Do they have a good following? Like, do you like how they're communicating? Does it look like they have that dog in them? And then if they have all of those characteristics, usually you can bid into them.
Yeah, that's a really great framework to look at it. You're focused on attention, and like does the company get attention? Is the app good? And look at it more like an angel investment. That's one thing that really excites me about these coins, is they're not just meme coins. You have real people who are building behind them. They're building real things. And I think that's why I think this is going to generate so much more attention, is because people are bored of just trading meme coins all the time and PvPing each other, where one token gets launched and it takes all the attention from this other one. With these companies and apps that are being built, there's real people who are going to keep building on this for months and months and months. And I like your framework of like, it's more like an angel investment than just like buying a random meme coin where you're gambling on short-term attention spans. Give me the high-level overview of where you might see Fitted in 5 years from now.
I want Fitted to be the Zillow for closets, where everybody, right, from the average Joe to the celebrity, athlete, you name it, to have a closet on Fitted. And then I also want there to be billions of dollars in volume on our token and buying and selling clothes on our platform. That's what I see success as. obviously a long way to go to get there, but I think when I think about end state fitted, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Love it.
What about you? What about you, Max?
I see I see like the hub for fashion. I see the you have single player mode of being able to really dive into your own closet, categorize it, organize it, work with AI styling to like get your best outfits, plan for trips, broaden your horizon on what's possible to wear. I think that's single player mode. And then I see social media. I see the best thing of a lot of different apps coming together in terms of like you can get on here, you can get inspiration, you can go look at what your friends are wearing, you can shop that look. If you really like an item, you can buy it, and then you can go place bids on stuff. You can trade items with people. It's just this ecosystem where it doesn't matter how you look, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter where you live. It just matters what clothing is in your closet. And I think that with a lot of stuff with Instagram, you post a fit pic. It matters how you look. It matters if you're in New York or if you're in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to do, a lot of these things matter. And so I think let's remove that. Let's remove vanity. Let's remove all this stuff and just like focus on clothing and like really create a space where you can, dive into your own closet, dive into others, get inspiration, buy, sell, trade, everything I just said. But I want this to be something you go on your phone and, whatever you need involving fashion is on there, whether it's a stylist that you can pay to work with them or Kith just dropped a new collection and you can shop it on the app and you can try on their clothes with the rest of your closet. Like, everything's here for you. And that's a big, big thing. And so it's a lot of stuff, but I think in the end, like that's where my head goes.
I love it.
And we get a lot of data, right? Like I think I tweeted this yesterday. Like retailers know what people buy, but they have no idea what you actually wear. And so, brands need that I think that data is this new oil, and the average user is currently uploading like 60 pieces to their closets, and that's like really rich, right? And it's like when you think about the age of personalization, it's like we're getting a lot of data. Brands love us, and so how can we fold everything into that?
Yeah. I really like how active you guys are on Twitter. I think you guys are really good at that. Some founders are not as used to it, but I think Reed, it comes from a good blend of both you guys. Like Reed, you're used to Twitter and you're used to Web3, and then Max, you're used to getting a lot of engagement on TikTok and Instagram, and you guys make a good combo because I see a lot of bangers and like Reed, your funny memes, like keep them up. So when people want to find updates on Fitcoin, where is the best place for them to go?
I think follow our Exit page.
At Fitted Closet.
Fitcoin. That's probably where the hub. Yeah,
At
at Fitted Closet, and then and then download the app too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
TikTok,
Well,
Squashbot, TikTok, Instagram,
also check
whatever.
out the
Yeah.
TikTok. Squash
Yeah. Yeah. Always updates on there, like very detailed updates, video format as well. So yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, gentlemen, that's all I have. Thank you so much for coming on, and
Yeah.
Thank you for
hopefully
having
see
us.
continued success.
Thank you,
Me
Nicholas.
too. Thank you. Pleasure.